Hello again, and welcome to another video guide on assessments in Canvas Learning Management System. Today we're talking about grades or the gradebook. In this comparison chart, we can infer that the gradebook isn't a direct assessment tool, but it ties well with SpeedGrader and rubrics, and with it, we can verify the marks we award to students in our course. In my previous videos, I mentioned that I see the Canvas grades as more like a logbook and a calculator for all the marks I give my students in their assessments. This way, I don't get overwhelmed with the data when I go into grades, and if there's something I need to adjust, I'd go back to the assessment settings of the assignments or quizzes. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to optimize the gradebook. By the end of this video, you will be able to sort grade entries by name, date, or grade and status. You will also learn how to filter the assignment groups and the modules and sections so you can see specific grades of students. You will also learn how to hide and unhide grades and communicate to students about their grades or submissions. We will look at the pros and cons of the gradebook, some challenges and limitations, and maybe one or two relevant case scenarios. Let's use a recently concluded course to view actual grades, but making sure students' names are kept private. This is the gradebook, and depending on how many assessments you have in your course, it can get really very extensive. At the top right, we find three drop-down commands. The two most common are View and Actions. Students' names are fixed in the first column, and assessments in the next column follow the order they're arranged in the assignments page. The last column is the total or the final mark. The View drop-down allows you to change the gradebook view. You can sort the entries according to names in alphabetical or reverse alphabetical order, due dates, highest to lowest points, or first to last modules, and vice versa. Here's the submission status code guide. These are default color codes in the system. The colors of the cells correspond to the assignment submission status, whereas the tab colors correspond to the Turnitin originality report. I can also filter the columns according to assignment groups, modules, sections, and student groups. There are some good rationales for using the filter function. One is to check submissions by the assignment type. You can assess if your students do well in written assessments versus, say, presentation or quizzes. When you find trends, you may want to vary the types of assessments you give your class. Another rationale is to check which modules or topics your students are good at or struggle with. Here, you can view grade trends by the weekly modules and then perhaps adjust your final exams or other upcoming assessments to include more of the topics they can perform well in. Finally, still in the drop-down function, you can add a notes column and input other information about your students. Note that by default, this is not visible to students. However, the notes column is included in the gradebook export CSV file. Speaking of importing and exporting grades, these commands are available in the Actions drop-down button. The acceptable format is CSV, and make sure that you export with all the sections of your course to show all students. Exports will include all the assessment columns. Within the assessment columns, you can also sort the grades from highest to lowest and vice versa, and by missing or late submissions. Case in point time. What if I want to communicate to students who haven't submitted their assignments or have been awarded really low assignment grades? Can I do that in grades? And the answer is definitely. Click the three vertical dots in the corresponding assessment column and scroll down to Message Students Who. This messaging functionality sorts students according to submission status and grades. Use this if you don't want to individually look for students that need a little nudge to do better. There's another cool trick you can do with the three vertical dots in the columns. If you want to hide the grades for that specific assignment, scroll down to Hide Grades. When students go into their gradebook, they will not be able to view their grade for that specific assessment until such time when you're ready to post them. There's a prompt that will ask if you want to hide grades in specific sections of your course. Tick the section or sections you want grades to be hidden and click Hide. There's more information in this section here to help you decide. Alright, finally, let's go to the gear icon on the rightmost area of the gradebook. There are two tabs here, Late Policies and Grade Posting Policy. If your institution has established college level or course level late submission policies, you can enable grade deductions by ticking the second box. You can set up a certain percentage deducted for every day the assignment was submitted late. The second tab offers two grade posting options, automatic and manual. My personal rule of thumb is selecting manually posting grades. This allows me to post grades on assignments individually or make adjustments as I go along. Some faculty opt to manually post grades if, for example, they'll need to regrade some assignments. And that's about it with regard to grades or the gradebook. In this video, I showed you how to use the gradebook to verify the grades from assignments or quizzes and other assessments that you have graded. I also showed you how to communicate to students about their submissions using the gradebook. The gradebook, however, is not useful for directly marking student submissions and commenting on them. Here's a link to other resources on grades. Thanks for joining me.